821, welcome back to BT. Derek Penn, our senior business writer over at the Vancouver Sun, joining us right now. Here's the book, The Bank of Mom and Dad. Real estate, always a hot topic of discussion on this side. Yep. And a candid conversation with parents and kids. This is an important one. And what have you noticed about kids cohabitating with their parents and doing it for a longer period before going out on their own?
Well, surveys come out every once in a while this showing that kids, when I say kids, we're talking about young adults into their 20s, late 20s even, and 30s, staying with their parents longer. It seems to be getting more difficult to get out of the nest, or they don't have the financial discipline to get out of the nest. So it's important to perhaps have a more candid discussion with your kids about money.
You know, strong money management, good money habits when it comes to managing debt, credit cards, all of these things come into play. But when it comes to the idea of buying property, let's start here about what needs to be discussed with parents and affordability with that discussion with their kids.
Well, I think the key is to, don't rush into it. Don't start with assumptions about whether or not you will be getting help from your parents. One of the first things I talk about in the book, or where the book came from, was this perhaps growing expectation that parents will be able to help you with a real estate purchase. So this is about open communication, about stepping back and don't start with assumptions, but have a real conversation and make real calculations about whether or not you can afford to help them.
And when we look at affordability and building budgets, what are some of the most valuable tools for parents to use with their kids, calculating net worth and things of that nature?
Well, it's a great start for kids. Young adults starting out, they don't think they have a net worth. They might have a negative net worth, but it's important to use that as a building block to start thinking about goals. Most banks have those worksheets on their websites. There's a worksheet in the book about figuring out what your income is, what your assets are, measure them against your debts, and sort of use that as a building block to start working on savings, getting out of debt, setting up deliberate savings for things like retirement.
Retirement's a key word here because there's the onus on the parents too to look at how much you need for retirement. What are some of the things to consider along those lines?
Exactly. Well, one of the tips I talk about is don't spring it on your parents. Don't sort of go out sort of shopping for real estate with your spouse on a weekend and find the perfect thing and call up your parents and say, guess what, we found our dream home, but we're going to need your help to make an offer. Try and have those kinds of conversations beforehand. Parents might be in a position where they've downsized, and if they've downsized in the Vancouver market, they might have more leeway to consider doing this, or they might have inheritance from their own parents that they can contribute. But
difference between needs and wants for both parents and kids. You have some interesting insights on this. Break those down for us.
Well, we live in a sort of consumer-driven society. There's lots of things out there that we think we need. Apple Watch just came out, syncs nicely with your new iPhone 6, but you have to sort of factor those things into an actual budget, and whether that's something you can afford versus something you actually need. Again, there's some worksheets in there about tracking your spending. That's a good start. And
the 24-hour rule for delayed gratification, quickly outline that for us too. That's another good one.
Yeah, it's when you start tracking your spending, it's good to go with a worksheet, and the worksheet is in the book, about what you're spending, where it fits into whether you want that or need that. And when you're thinking about that, getting into bigger ticket items, the new pair of shoes, the new jacket, new dress, whatever. As you're tracking that spending, thinking about making that purchase, commit to yourself that you'll wait 24 hours for a bigger ticket item.
And then just see if you're still into it after those 24 hours.
Yeah.
Good tips all around, and I know you also get into the idea of loans and co-signing on mortgages and things of that nature. This is just a jump start. Here's the book again, The Bank of Mom and Dad, Money, Parents, and Grown Children. Derek, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully you have some candid conversations at home with the family.